did you have a bad experience this week?
Today.
Okay, so just before you left today, you projected, and I'll say I projected work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I projected, see now, I'm going to ask her before we put in the words, just tell me the story. So, you showed up as how?
Drama queen.
Okay, okay.
This girl sucks every ounce of drama out of everybody's life right into hers.
You said there was 2 girls that are special cases. Who do they remind you of? Growing up? Who was the drama? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems to think that it's her job to point out whenever anybody makes a mistake. And I don't want to call her a perfectionist because she is not.
Right, but she likes to blame.
Yes, it's never her fault, it's always somebody else's.
Alright, so who's that remind you of?
Was Dad that way too? I would say Dad, because he was...
Yeah, everything, he was always right.
He was always right.
Ego tells you, you get caught up into it, it's them, blah, 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 blah. So now let's do the spiritual mindset. You project it out, and you gotta start thinking this way when you start to want to resolve your stuff, is that the word is projection. And just understand, what does that mean?
I'm putting out
Energy
cords
to create a projection screen so you can see the movie. Yes?
Okay.
I know, it's a
Boy,
hard
that movie's
pill.
been interesting sometimes, hasn't it?
And this is where we can't get caught up into the ego part, but if we really want to change our world, is that this is how you stand back and look with your spirit mindset and allow the emotions and everything to be in the ego mindset, but to understand the cause and effect. Because we are taught in the ego to be the effect, to be the victim, to be the crying game. And we're doing both at all times, because that's karma. One can't exist without the other. And it's very important to understand that. So you can't just stand here, which is what the world says, oh, you poor victim, you, let me just give you this. Oh, and everybody, there's a lot of rewards you get. There's a lot of rewards you get from this.
For being the victim?
Yes. There's a lot of rewards and punishment. And the problem is that we live here. We don't know how to live through both of them.
Well, maybe I do. The cause is I don't care. I have never been so apathetic at work.
Okay? Now, here's the thing. That is a result of how you came into the now. But at one point, you had to have the opposite of that, where you did care.
At this job?
Well, it doesn't matter about the job, it's about the situation. The drama, the negative, the talking, the feelings, the emotions, the stories.
Well, actually, your job you had at Analyst really, in the long run, spoiled you as per jobs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah. It was...
You had the run of the place, more
Yeah,
or
I
less.
did.
Okay, so we need to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
But, so now she's got the before and after. She knows what she likes. Just like we, before and after. She knows what she... Remember, we live in a world of opposites. So if you say you don't care, you did care. I don't want to care. Okay?
She doesn't like this job, and that's why she doesn't care.
Yeah, and there's a difference of feeling when you go to heal, and you get to the point where I don't care anymore. It's different because there's no hook. This has still got a hook. And you're comparing it to the opposite, which was I did care. But you have to remember that you are, however old you are now, you need to go back to when it all began. How did you know to know the difference? If you're growing up in your house, and we got to find out, when did you stop caring? When did all this happen? So responsibility, it's that how one should show up. And if you're looking and everybody else chooses not to want to show up the way that you think that they're supposed to show up, then you have to catch when you go into a judgment stage. Now, if it's part of your job, like a parent or a boss, then why is there a lack of communication? These are the key words. Because if your job is to help bring that person into that position, like the art of debate, it's not arguing. There's two sides, and you can resolve the idea that there is two sides. When you start learning about the art of communication, it's amazing how far it goes. Responsibility is about how one should show up. How does one want to respond? There's a part of you that says, I don't care, I don't want to be the boss, I don't want to be in charge of that, I don't want to hear the stories. This aggravation begins when you're younger. This is always in your household, growing up. If you haven't resolved it, it's going to keep repeating itself. How?
He would scream and yell and...
Okay, so the consequences, the effect of not doing. So you have the person that points out mistakes, has to be always right, drama queen. Look where your identity is. Your energy cords are saying, I lose X amount of power. X amount of power to drama. And this is your identity. Which means, if you had 100% life force, how much would go into that?
99.9%. I was so tired. I almost called Mom and said, I'm not going tonight. I'm just going to stay home and stare.
It drains you that much.
Yeah.
Okay? And you know it because you told yourself. And you know this cord drains you. The reason you haven't left this job is because it's going to follow you around. You haven't learned what you need to learn in this job to grow. Do you see? Okay, so let's say you decide you're going to just quit. Like people get divorces or they move. Okay?
Yeah, I give my 2 weeks notice, my resignation letter. I can honestly tell you I learned a lot here, but nothing that I wanted to learn.
And what are you doing tonight? And the thing is, though, is that this is what happens. We run, we can move, we can divorce, but you're going to pick somebody twice as worse to teach you since you didn't learn the first time. And if you don't learn that, then you're going to get another shitty job, or another person will show up, but if you only learn parts of it, then, like my ex-husband, I learned a lot from him. So I didn't really have to marry one again. I had to create two, not one, but two. But they came from a different angle, so I didn't have to live with it all the time. But it was still there. And then when I healed that big chunk, they are completely out of my life. Now I just have the little trails, the entrails that need to be cleaned up still.
But can you think of anything nice about any good feature on any of those ones that...
Okay, and see, and the thing is, we could make her go into positive mode and find two things we like about them, but you are showing yourself a lesson. This whispering opportunity can escalate more into a bitch slap if you need to be slapped. We're trying to avoid that.
Yes.
By
Bitch slaps.
Yeah, so we want to be healed. We know that it comes in double. It's something that drains you like almost 100%. You feel it leave you. What modality, what sensory system does it affect first? Feeling, hearing, seeing, all at once.